So this is James Floyd here at Mysterious Galaxy in San Diego for ClubJ.net. I'm here with Jason Fry, who is visiting on the DK Attack of the Authors tour. Jason, tell us why you're in San Diego today.
I have been on this wonderful Attack of the Authors tour that DK was very kind in putting together. This is, goodness me, it's probably day 8. We have been through, actually began in Portland, where my friend Ryder Wyndham went to a couple of stores. Then I joined him in Seattle. We then were in Berkeley, and this is our second stop here at Mysterious Galaxy in San Diego. So it's just been a great way to get out there and talk about some of the great new DK books and talk Star Wars with a lot of kids and let them see Stormtroopers and Rebel heroes and generally have a lot of fun and get even more enthusiastic about reading.
All right, one of your new Star Wars books from DK is the Phantom Menace Expanded Visual Dictionary. Tell us about that. What's going on with the expanded part?
This was a terrific book before I ever got to it, and hopefully I didn't make that change any. The Visual Dictionary was released in 1999 with Episode 1, written by David West Reynolds. And so when it came time to put Episode 1 out on 3D, there was an opportunity to go back over the book and add a lot of material. So there's, I don't remember how many pages, but there's lots of pages of new material in here. It is not just the same book in a slightly different cover. It's this was a cool thing they did. They did a cutaway view of Maul's saber, where you know, these really great prop guys in the UK put this together, and I actually got to consult on that, which was pretty fun. Like, what would that look like inside? And I said, you know, it should look kind of dangerous and not at all safe and jagged and stuff like that. So besides that, there's a lot of new spreads like that. The other thing we got to do was we got to look at Episode 1, knowing what we know from the rest of the prequels. That's something that David West Reynolds, who wrote the original and wrote a really great book, just couldn't have available to him. So we were able to, you know, look at things in a new light, like the Sith's plan or the Jedi Council or Qui-Gon Jinn. So really a lot of fun to do that book, and hopefully people like it. Well,
with that extra context of knowing where the saga is going at that point, was there a chance to even work in some stuff about Clone Wars or anything else from the expanded universe?
It's a little tricky because you're looking ahead. It was more kind of what did we find out about the Sith's plan, or you know, even little things like a little more context for Aurra Sing, who showed up first and very briefly in the Phantom Menace. Mostly it's more looking back, like you know, where have the Sith been, and I got to drop in some little stuff about Hutt history, which was fun. There is a bit more understanding what is Darth Sidious's plan and what's the state of the Republic as it heads into trouble. So, yeah, really a lot of fun to work on, and you know, some terrific new art and little new bits of continuity for people who like those things, and plenty for kids.
Awesome. And then another new book that you had out, we're going to zoom in down here. It's The Secret Life of Droids.
Oh yeah.
Tell us, what is The Secret Life of Droids? What are they doing behind our backs?
Well, they're working hard and saving the galaxy. This book was something that was a little new to me. It's really heavy on the art, and really aimed kind of nicely at younger kids, with a combination of you know, portrayals of various droids, and then also questions. You know, how can you defeat battle droids? So there's plenty of information in here. I like to think it's pretty information rich, but it's really kind of an introduction for kids who are curious about things. There's also, for fans of this stuff, there's some terrific Chris Reif and Chris Trevis art in here.
Nice.
That was newly created for the book. Here's some of it, like this really cool shot of what IG-88 might have seen on Darth Vader's Star Destroyer bridge, and
being able to target in on what's going on around him.
And even see through Vader's helmet, which probably isn't a bad idea, but I mean, isn't a good idea, but he seems to have gotten away with it. A great shot by Chris Trevis of R2-D2's point of view. I'll try to hold that very still on the blockade runner when Princess Leia is putting the plans in his system. So there are nice touches around like that, but really a great book a great kind of introductory book for kids who have newly discovered Star Wars.
Right. And it covers the entire saga?
Entire saga, yeah. Absolutely.
Very nice. All right, and then some of the other works that you've just recently put out, The Essential Guide to Warfare, which is a massive 2-pound tome of...
We have this up here, yeah.
Of pretty much it's almost like an entire chronology of the Star Wars galaxy, but just from the point of view primarily of all the different war and the strife and conflict.
Yeah, this book was a lot of fun to do. I compare it, in some ways it's like the Essential Atlas, in that, Dan Wallace and I, when we wrote the Essential Atlas, in a lot of places we were kind of looking at Star Wars history through the lens of geography, like, where are all these planets located, and how did that help dictate how the galaxy developed and how wars were fought, etc. So in a way, Warfare is the same approach. It's history from a warfare-based point of view, and that can mean tactics, that can mean lots of things, from clashes between civilizations, but there's lots and lots in here about fleets, about army units, etc. But it's the thinking was that the Atlas, I don't think would have worked as a straight kind of encyclopedia of places. It had that's interesting to dip into, but it's hard to read and make into a narrative. Same thing with Warfare. I mean, there's lots and lots about ships and armies, etc. But I think the better flow and the better reading experience is basically tracing history and then getting to that stuff along the way.
And one of the key things that made both the Essential Atlas and the Guide to Warfare so neat to read is that it's not just an encyclopedia. There is a narrative. There's storytellers. There's points of view. You get into a lot of the different key figures from different parts, and even like at the Battle of Hoth, you get into Piet and General Rakin and kind of do this little snapshot comparison of them. Tell us about how you got into different people's heads. And
I think you put it very well. I mean, we were interested in playing with the point of view a little bit and who the narrator is. Not really to play narrative games or anything. That's not what I do. But just to change it up and to make what can be an intimidating reading experience more modular. So you get lots of points of view from everyday soldiers, people who were caught in war, military leaders. You get slices of people's memoirs. You get some cases where the view is clearly kind of slanted. We tried, Paul Urquhart, my co-author, and I, we tried not to overdo that. I think when that's happening all the time, I think it gets a little wearying. But
you just a little too much propaganda and.
Yeah, if you were I think if in every chapter, in every section, you were like assessing someone's point of view, I think that would get a little wearying. But so we were trying to make it just a way to liven up the narrative and make it not what you might expect about things that you've probably read about quite a bit.
And coming with your background, working on articles in Star Wars Insider, like the one on Who's Who in Rogue Squadron, it certainly gave you a lot of things to fill in. And reading from your comments on the book, that there's a lot of stuff that got cut. What are your favorite things that you wish could have made it in, but you had to pare down?
Oh goodness. There was I really like ancient Star Wars history, so there was a bunch of stuff about the Celestials and the Rakata and Zim the Despot that we had to leave on the cutting room floor, as well as there was some stuff about Grand Moff Tarkin that was fun, and a confrontation between Princess Leia and Captain Panaka, who's become a Moff.
Right.
That was fun. But, the important thing to realize there is that most of that stuff was cut for a reason. A lot of the early material came out because Harris Chernovice, my terrific editor at Del Rey, said, it's taking too long for us to get to people actually shooting at each other and being able to hear the John Williams music in your head, and he was right about that. So part of a book is finding its focus and finding its voice. So hopefully some of that better material will be able to find a home for down the road, but some of it came out for a reason, and I think the book is better for it.
I don't know, and maybe a chance that now, especially with the focus on the Old Republic and that time frame, is like there's a chance to kind of do the guide just for that time frame and that stuff earlier with Rakatans, and especially now with the Dawn of the Jedi comic series coming out.
Could be. I mean, I know Del Rey and Lucasfilm have looked at kind of period specific guides before. I'm not privy to the reasons they haven't done them. I think their feeling is more trying to find the universal themes, categories, etc., that work across Star Wars. But if they ever go down that route, I would love to help.
Well, one of the key focuses that you've been working on, especially with DK, is a lot of Clone Wars related stuff. You've been cranking out all sorts of different guides, the season 1 and 2 guides, the character encyclopedia. What's it like to work on a show that's still being made and still has new material coming out?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun not knowing what's coming next. It's a lot of fun occasionally getting into little glimpses into that, and then having to stay silent about them. It's been a treat to really watch the show as it develops. I mean, you don't have to be an author to see how different the show looks and how different it feels from the first season as they've added more and more assets and just learn to do stuff. So it's been fun to reflect that and go along. I've been lucky enough to be able to expand what I do a little bit into a little bit more of the fiction side. So one book I'm really excited about is actually from Scholastic. That's coming out. It's a Darth Maul adaptation coming out in September.
Oh, cool.
I think the title is Shadow Conspiracy, but that's going to be looking at some stuff yet to come, and I'm pretty sure I think it comes out even before the episodes, so that's going to be pretty mind-blowing. It's a pretty great story. And then, of course, working with, on DK titles is enormously fun when you're not focusing on a specific thing, but looking at Clone Wars as a whole. Like, the character encyclopedia was just a joy to do, just all these. Yeah,
even though it's really image heavy and just little snippets of test, there's a lot of cool stuff even for grown-up Star Wars fans like me that just looking through and saying, oh wow, this is how different characters kind of connect together.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah, I hope so. It was a fun book to do, both for kids and also to just slip in little nods that won't bother kids at all, but grown-ups might like. Like Jar Jar was fun to do. All these guys, it's a little bit like role-playing games where they have their stats. Riding the height of 20 or 30 different clone troopers, it's fairly predictable. You're like, oh, that's the same. But Jar Jar, what did we write here? Jar Jar's talents were hard to describe. So
he has that undefinable allure.
An undefinable something, yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any projects coming up? I know you mentioned in an interview with another site that you're working on a secret Clone Wars project. Is there anything you can mention about that yet? Or
actually, that's the Maul project.
Oh, that's the Maul project. All right.
We can talk a little bit more about it because it's hit Amazon and been listed a bit. So I can't give you any details, but that's what that one is, which was enormously fun to write and also a lot of fun to talk with Lucasfilm about. Leland Chee and Dave Filoni were really generous in giving some guidance about how we could make that as the best book it could be without running afoul of production on the show, which still had a lot to do. I'm also really excited. My own series, which is called Jupiter Pirates, will be coming out in fall 2013 from HarperCollins. Okay. So that's still a ways off. And
what's that about?
Oh, Jupiter Pirates is it's a middle grade story. It's about a family of space pirates. They're actually privateers based in the moons of Jupiter, and they harry shipping from Earth corporations. What I think makes it really fun is their ship is run by a family, and their mother is the captain, and the children are all crewmates, but they're also competitors because only one of them can inherit the captaincy. So they're constantly being judged against each other. So that series will kick off in fall 2013, and I'm really hugely excited for it. But there's that, and hopefully many more Star Wars things to come because I've loved Star Wars my whole life, and it's just fascinating to see what the saga will come up with next.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come out today, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.